So once you finish your master's and PhD, some of you ask also, and there are also faculty members, academicians, so you are looking for jobs sometimes. So that's why I put these job opportunities. Of course, there are job opportunities, as you know, in Western countries, in overseas countries, it is survival for the fittest. So when I finished my master's, so I managed to publish 2 or 3 high quality papers. So basically, Dean of Faculty of Engineering invited me to join as a lecturer. So that's one strength I had when I completed my master's in University of Malaya. So if you have completed your master's, PhD, particularly PhD with good number of high quality journal papers, and you solve industrial problems, so your academic performance is good. So definitely this will help you to get job opportunities, not only in the countries that you did, but in maybe some other countries as well. Many researchers work in Middle East, Malaysia after completing their PhD in Australia, US, and Canada. As you know, I was almost 2 years in Saudi Arabia, so I interact with many India, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, and Arabian origin people, academician. I ask them sometimes, you did your master's and PhD in US, Australia, Canada, so why you moved in all these countries in like Saudi Arabia, Middle East, and Malaysia? These jobs are very limited. And also in some cases, they say our religious environment are also not that conducive. So again, there are opportunities, there are pros and cons, so you have to decide yourself. So this is also the question, and definitely now we are at this pandemic situation. This is an extraordinary difficult situation all over the world. So the global economy is now seriously impacted. So definitely the economic impact is there. And because of that, actually it will impact your scholarship, research funding as well. As you also know, the travel movement, so now it's not that easy to move from one country to another countries. Even if we want to travel, I think it is restricted. Very difficult situation. Some of our students also now are outside, even though they had valid visa, but cannot come back in Malaysia. Now, because of this also, we cannot bring our students, particularly in Malaysia also, outside students to conduct the lab experiments. So these are also difficulties. Ordering materials, consumable parcels are also limited. As you know, everything is now very, very limited. More and more SOP, standard operating procedures, and so on. So as a result, a lot of restrictions are there, parcels are there. So this definitely will impact your overall research scholarship. But definitely, inshallah, this will be overcome. So vaccines are coming, but it will not be that easy. Even the vaccines are invented. As you know, the now supply also the facing difficulties, and also the storage of vaccine is not that easy. And also the it may be effective up to 3 to 6 months. So again, the problem is not solved yet. So maybe some of them are anticipating maybe another 2 years will take time. So that's why I think rather than just sitting or idling, probably you can make your own plan, as I mentioned, and also next in the next subsequent slides also I'll be highlighting some way how you can optimize your time. So as you can see, because of this pandemic, so billionaires are also affected. Their earnings also getting down, as you can see. So definitely, you know, the universities are dependent on country's economic situation. For example, the student intake, industrial funding, government funding, private funding, and so on. So if the wheel of the economic wheel of a country does not move, if they are at lockdown situation, as you know, the people cannot move, definitely it will impact the whole countries, and as a result, it will impact your scholarship also. So as you can see here, because of this COVID, actually there will be unemployment in whole Malaysia. So I think this is not only the scenario for Malaysia, I think this is the global scenarios. So many of postdoctoral fellows are requesting, is there any vacancy? So again, due to this pandemic, at our university also there are some of the challenges we are facing, particularly the new scholarship, new recruitment. So I think it's not only a scenario with us, so we also have news from other university also. They are laying out some of their staff as well. So I read a newspaper that one Malaysian pilot, he was pilot for Oman Airlines. Now he is selling, he's making his own business, something like grocery business or some making tea and so on. So as you can imagine what's going to happen and what's happening. I think this slide is very important for all of you. This is actually one of the key slides probably you are looking for. So as we always expect that we are going for higher studies, looking for masters and PhD, definitely there will be support. So that's our expectation, particularly to move to the overseas countries. Even the knowledge, skills, and so on, but at the same time, we need also financial support to survive, to sustain, to support our living cost and so on, tuition fees. So normally there are various types of funding opportunities. So some of them, or one is called the scholarship. It can be in the form of a RA, TA part-time job, maybe funding from government agency, industry, international funding, tuition fee waiver. So these are basically 4 types of funding we define at the academic life, where you are, it is in Australia, Canada, and Malaysia. So I think everywhere these are called the scholarships. So it can be from government funded. For example, Bangladesh government also support some scholarship from our country. Similarly, Malaysian government, US government, Australian government also give specific types of scholarship for specific countries and so on. So these are called the scholarship. And in that case, actually, you will get each and every benefits. Your tuition fee will be waived. You will get monthly allowances. You will get living cost. You will get insurance and so on. And this is basically the comprehensive one. There might be RA, research assistantship, teaching assistantship, part-time job. This may not be that comprehensive. Particularly, RA is something like when professors, prospective supervisor has funding from government agency or private agencies. Basically, they can support your research assistantship. In that case, tuition fee can be waived or not. That one you need to negotiate. These are the things also, pros and cons. Sometimes you need to ask your supervisor whether your tuition fee will be waived or not. What types of benefit opportunities you will get through these things. So you need to be very specific. In this case, sometimes you feel shy. You don't ask question, and when you arrive, and then all those the misunderstanding happens and disagreement happens, and at that time, I think it's too late. So that's why don't be hesitant to ask all those questions to your supervisors. Better be very clear what is your expectation and what you will get, so that there is no mismatch or misunderstanding when you already in that countries. There might be funded projects from government, industry, international. For example, in Malaysia, Ministry of Higher Education provides some funding every year. So we got funding, and from that funding, basically we can support our research assistantship, and tuition fees also waived, and that is something called the funded project. And some university also provide the tuition fee waiver. For example, in Sunway University, if your CGPA is 3.5 and above, so your tuition fee can be fully waived. If less than 3.25 and in between 3, and then that can be partially waived. Of course, if you have some good journal, that's also some criteria also. Those helps you to waive the tuition fee. If tuition fee is waived, and for example, in Malaysia, your living cost maybe within 1,000 to 1,200, you still can get some degrees and you can publish some papers. So whereas if you go Australia, Canada with the self-finance, even though the tuition fee is less, but it might cost heavily. So you have to be careful also. So this is the reason also sometimes Asian countries might be a good option, particularly to pursue your masters. So again, this is also the question: what are the criteria is looking for scholarship? So give me 1 minute to drink my water. So these are basically the criteria. CGPA, of course, the higher is the better, but it is not everything. Even though sometimes CGPA is high, but research capability may not be that strong. But that is one of the criteria is we will be looking for CGPA, because it is hard to check and verify other things. And this is universally accepted and recognized criteria. So cumulative CGPA, higher is the better. The language is very, very important because you are going to study in English language. So your writing, your speaking, your communication, everything should be extremely good. So that's why you need the IELTS, TOEFL. And also good thing is that some of our universities, medium of instruction is in English. I think in some, this is one of the good advantages, particularly our countries. So we have students here sometimes from Indonesia and some Middle Eastern countries. So their medium of instruction is not in English. So they face tremendous difficulties. They cannot actually express, they cannot write. They go through certain courses, but that actually does not solve problem that much. So they face difficulties in publication, in writing thesis. So that's why the language is very, very important. I would strongly suggest you spend some good amount of time from your early stage, those who are not English medium students. I think this is a very good investment. This is not only for research purpose. I think communication, talking, convincing others, I think it is extremely important, this language. So along with improving your research knowledge and skill at undergraduate level, so English is also very important. So let me share my experience. So when I enrolled, got admission in BUET, so as you know, I came from Bengali medium. I never studied English medium other than the English subject. So past 6 months, I was in terrible situation. I was in very difficult situation to overcome the language challenges. Sometimes I felt that I may not be able to continue my study. But again, as you know, the BUET is the prestigious, and it was not easy to get a chance over there. So I got the chance, and I cannot go back. And I don't have an option also because I also came from poor family. So I need to move forward. So then I find the alternative ways, and I started to read English newspaper every day. You know, I spent half an hour using dictionary at that time. And alhamdulillah, after 1 week, I feel a little bit better. And that's after 6 months, I feel more confident. And constantly, I'm also now also learning the English because I publish so many papers. This is also how it helped my English language also to improve. So this is how, where you have to spend your time also in improving your language. This is very, very important for your academic life. I can see some of our researchers even cannot spell properly, cannot speak properly. So then how you are going to express your good findings to the scientific community. So definitely this is important things. So communication skill, as I mentioned, sometimes maybe you have some other deficiency, but you are good at communicating, your language is good, you write a good proposal, draft proposal, and that can impress your supervisor. I think definitely this is what I mentioned, the communication skill. This is related with the English language improvement. Maybe in future also, I'll be giving some talks also how to improve the communication skill. I give an example. Sometimes our country people, even academician, somebody is looking for, he's a lecturer. He sent me an email with same, just copy and paste somebody else. So I saw that name is someone else. So I was extremely unhappy and, upset that he is looking for something and he's an academician and he just copy and paste an email. So this is again detrimental. Rather than getting your opportunities, definitely this will damage your, you are conveying a wrong impression. This also happened when we studied, we heard from our friends that sometimes rule number is also copied and pasted in our experimental thing. So this happens. So don't be researcher like that. Always try to have your own things, even though it is broken types, whatever, but always have your own things. Don't copy and paste. Okay, this will be detrimental. Sometimes there is question also, my age is 40, 30. Is it a criteria? Actually, it is not a criteria. Sometimes it might be a good option. Maybe you have experience and so on in that topics, maybe industrial experience. But long time that now you are looking for separate topics and you are already inertia, that might be a little bit difficulty. So my view is that if you want to really continue master's and PhD immediately after finishing your undergraduate, don't delay. If you delay, I feel there might be some inertia because whatever you have learned, maybe now you forgot many of the things. So immediately after finishing your master's PhD, and if you are an academician, I think certain period of time delay, 2 years, 3 years should be okay. And because you are engaged in teaching, learning, so that basically is also helping your theoretical knowledge, that should be okay. But too much delay, older age, actually you forgot many things and it's different topics, I think it will be difficult for you. Now, what's are the major source of incomes for scholarship? As you know, it's actually from the grant, student tuition fees, endowment, commercialization of all products and services. Basically, these are now impacted because of the COVID. So that's why the funding is now will be impacted. There will be definitely impact on the funding. So that's what I mentioned in the title, that I'll be talking about the opportunities and challenges. So sometimes probably we feel that overseas countries are actually the something is very good is waiting for you. Money will fall from the sky. It's like a heaven. It is like a golden deer. I think those are the misconception, wrong ideas. So we should not think in that way. So as you know, the scholarships are always limited funding. All of you will not get that scholarship and funding. Only certain, maybe 10% of the top students, top performers. And overseas countries also, as I mentioned, the ones they finish their masters and PhD, they move to Middle East, Malaysia, Brunei, and so on. So why? Because the job is limited. And there is also the survival for the fittest. As you know, the Australia, US, Canada, the all cream of the all countries move there. So the competition is extremely high. So if you are not in that category, if you are not in the top 10%, top 20%, definitely it will be hard for you to get a good job over there. So in overseas countries, again, don't take those things lightly. That overseas countries you can do the good results easily, and you don't need to hard work. So I think all those are misconceptions or misunderstandings. So never think in that way. That will be very, very detrimental. So you need the dedication, hard working wherever you want to study, whether it is in Asian countries and Western countries. Sometimes to support your study, you do the part-time job in hotels or in part-time teaching and so on. As you know, your research need quality time, quality effort. As I mentioned in my Facebook post also, the quality time is very, very important. That's how I spend my time also. When I was in BUET, I work up to overnight. So normally in BUET at 12 a.m. midnight, we go for midnight paratha. So that's how BUET students and the top students or the good university students work hard. Even, when I was a lecturer and when I had my peak time at University of Malaya, actually I spent 18 to 20 hours daily to work with my students to prepare the papers and so on. So quality time is very, very important. Challenges also, there are limited resources. This is where you do mistakes sometimes without doing your homework. Who are the potential supervisors, whether they have enough resources, they have lab, they have funding, they have equipment, they have materials consumable or not, without checking. If you are looking for with someone is a new, he does not know how to write proposal, he or she does not know how to train you, I think that might be detrimental also. So these are the things also when you are looking for, look his or her lab, how many students he supervised, how many papers he published, how much funding he has acquired. I think these are some of the information you can get from the website. Inexperienced team, I think that's what also I mentioned. If the team is not experienced, they basically cannot give you the training. Actually, you will face challenges, you will face the difficulties, and that will delay your getting your degree, and that might create your frustration. And some of you ask also, is there any failure and success? So that might lead to the failure also. So that's why your homework, some good planning, your own analysis is very much needed before making a decision to move overseas countries. Change of topics after some time. So this is, I supervise many students. I was with many other colleagues, supervisors. So I know sometimes suddenly they change their students' topics. So I feel the anxiety, distress of the students, because students also cannot express, cannot say no sometimes with the supervisor. After 6 months, after 1 year, the topic need to change. So definitely this is not good practice. So this happens sometimes. So, and this lead to your delay of your research degree and so on. So that's why from the very beginning, you try to maintain good relationship with the supervisor, always make a good discussion, productive discussion, good relationship, so that you can express your concern, views, and so that he or she can listen, he can take care of you. So I think those are the important things. Of course, there are success and failure. As you know, even I heard that some of our, when I was doing my undergraduate, I heard that some of our BUET teacher also failed. This is not to undermine, this is just to tell you, meaning that there are failure and success. When I was in University of Malaya also, I heard from that one of our Bangladeshi also, he was failed his master's or PhD in Thailand. It may not be failure, it may be some of actually misunderstanding or not good relationship with the supervisor. So in higher studies, I think the relationship with the supervisor is extremely important. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult. So that's why I think you need to learn also how to work with the supervisor, how to behave with the supervisor, how to talk with the supervisor. I think that's also the communication skill also important. And I think the other thing also, our religious thing also, we teach, we learn also the patience, sober, very, very important. So in my master's and PhD, I face a lot of challenges with my supervisor also, but I always maintain my patience and maintain as good as possible. I never was reactive. Even in some cases, I was extremely unhappy. This is how I overcome my challenges also. Because in academic life, supervisor has been given certain amount of power, particularly at higher degree level. In Western countries, maybe some more professionalism, but in some countries, this is my personal experience also, and some other people also face. So there are pros and cons, something may be good at Asian countries, something maybe. So obviously there are some challenges, always will be there. So there are always success and failure. Other challenges like we move there for long-term purposes, unless we want to come back in our home countries. As you know, our children, those who have families, children's education, if you are a student, I think sometimes it is very, very challenging if it is not English language countries like in Malaysia, Middle Eastern countries. Then you know your children, our children are grown in our own language, so English is not their language also. And English language, English medium is extremely expensive. So when I was lecturer, even I was struggling to send my son in English medium schools. As you know, the salaries are not that much, but English medium schools are extremely expensive. So these are the challenges you have to keep in your mind before moving. I call this all these matrices. So the admission requirement, scholarship requirement, and the challenges. So if you analyze all those carefully and you make your own metrics, evaluation analysis criteria, definitely I'm sure that it will help you to make a good decision whether you want to move overseas countries or not. Social sciences, obviously that's also one category of, as you know, the funding are normally at the science and engineering, more funding. Social sciences are funding there, but in some cases they are limited. Same thing like the religious studies, Islamic studies. So possible solutions. So normally in most cases, the researchers always give you the problem. They don't give you the solution. So my uniqueness is always that I always will propose some of the solutions. Sabir, so how many minutes I have to talk?
Sir, you can continue as much as you need, no problem. Smoothly.
Yeah. Okay, so not many slides, so maybe another 20 minutes. All right, okay. So hopefully participants are okay. Okay, so what would be the possible solution? So I have shown you what are the opportunities, particularly the top 10%, top 20%. I don't see any difficulties for them because even they can directly enroll PhD if their CGPA is 3.75 and above. In some cases, not everywhere, not every university. So that's the benefit of your high CGPA. Of course, if you have high IELTS and TOEFL score, then definitely I can assure that you will get a better opportunities. But that is only top 10% and top 20%, not for everybody. So what would be for other, those who are at mediocre, at moderate level of your achievement, and even less than 3. So there must have some other alternative options. So this can be one of the ways, the collaboration. I don't have much time to talk about the collaboration. I think in future also I'll give, because I have decided I'll give the series of talks on these research related matters. So some of them will be the rule of collaboration. So time to time I will give these talks, this collaboration. I will share my experience also, resource facilities also. This is again the collaboration. That's how you can overcome some of your challenges. Even collaboration also will not be that easy, but you can try. So this is basically is to establish collaboration with the overseas countries, with locally, internationally, even with your own universities also, those who are good at research publication, so on. And you don't need anything to write a review paper. I think this is a good option. And tomorrow I'm going to give a talk on writing a review paper. So you see in the Facebook option, Faisal Chaudhary from Chittagong University. I think it's around, so you check the Facebook posting. I think you can find in my Facebook also, because I was tagged or shared. So how to write a good review paper, I'll be sharing tomorrow. You can learn from there also. It does not need your experimental setup, just dedicated amount of time, some experience, some skill, so on. Publishing analytical computational work, sometimes using computer software, some data from secondary sources. For example, meteorological data, you got it and you analyze them and you can publish at least some good quality paper. Register in local universities, organization, collaborate with overseas countries. So this is again good option, but probably you take it lightly and your ambition is to go overseas universities. As I mentioned, always the scopes are limited, scholarships are limited. So in case if you cannot find, you spend your dedicated time, quality time, make your mind that you definitely will complete your masters in Bangladeshi universities in collaboration with the overseas universities. It is possible. Work with the supervisor who are focused and active in research. Discuss with your supervisor that you want to publish in good quality journals so that it helps for higher study. Explain your future plan. Definitely, I think this is the good initial plan and initial discussion you need to make with your supervisor, particularly selection of your topics and supervisor. If your supervisor is not interested to publish, is not interested to help you, is not focused on, is not active in research, definitely, I think it would not be wise for you to select that types of supervisor. If your intention is to pursue higher studies in overseas countries, I think this is also a good plan in your case, if you are really interested to pursue your higher studies in overseas countries. Definitely invest in your education if one has the capability. So definitely some of your parents may be businessmen, maybe high-ranking officer may have enough to support you. So in that case, you make the investment. Definitely there will be return on this investment in my view, particularly in Malaysian countries, Malaysia and some other countries maybe living costs are cheap. So I am a long time in Malaysia, so I know the Malaysian living cost is reasonable, close to Bangladesh. So I think 1,200, maximum 1,500 Malaysian ringgit, that is something like 30,000 per month will be enough for you. So even in private universities, Bangladesh also may be more costlier than this. So in that case, I think this will be a good investment for you. So in such a cases, if you need help, so you can communicate with me. I can help you with some local universities, even at some universities also. We can, if you have good CGPA in our PhD program, actually we can waive your tuition fee fully. That is actually something good. And also if you start with your self-finance investment, if you are doing well, and when we have some opportunities, definitely we will give you the support. We will give the priority to you. So this is another option. So how to find and search scholarship, admission, and research topics. So these are the some of the ways. Direct, basically the personal contact is the most important way. That's why I would suggest you need to spend quality time to search. So you need to know, also learn how to search. I think maybe Sabbir, you can give certain talks also how to find, how to search, searching strategy for topics, supervisors, and so on. Maybe in one of the topics you can presentation, you can focus on that way.
Yes, sir. For your honorable mention that in the course, How to Become a Researcher, there is a lecture on how to find out good research topics. So they can follow this. Inshallah, they will be benefited from this. There are specific guidelines.
Yeah, this is basically homework, and I think that if you follow Sabbir's presentation seminar, I think that will help you also through different media. Sometimes in the social media, in the newspaper comes also, but these are rarely done. Establish research collaboration. So that's why I think research collaboration with overseas countries basically will establish early collaboration. A lot of benefit will be there, because for example, you started collaboration with my group and I know that you are a very potential candidate. Definitely I will give you the priority because you are known to me. Somebody I don't know, I normally not give the preferences. Similarly, you are working with an Australian collaborator and you made a good link and you managed to publish, and that is how you build your credibility. Definitely you will be given the priority. Okay, so that's why the research collaboration has immense multiple benefit. Check the university website for details of admission requirements. So this is also the question asked, how I will file the admission requirement. So if you ask me the question, how much is the tuition fee, what is the requirement, this and that, you know, there are hundreds of universities, there are thousands of universities. So we are not good at memorizing. So you check their Institute of Postgraduate Studies or Higher Studies, the website. Each and every details are there. And if something missing, I think you can communicate by email. Directly, you ask what's the necessary thing. This is how they communicate with us. And when I was also University of Malaya, actually the admission section can help you all the necessary requirements. How much TOEFL will be needed, how much CGPA will be needed, how much tuition fee will be needed, when you can come, which you can, when you need to enroll. Each and every admission details, actually it is there. First you do the homework, you read their website, and then if something is not clear, you shoot an email to them, and definitely they will give you the answer. They will reply to you. To find the research topics, I think the Science Direct, actually you can put your specific topics, and you will find a lot of papers. Then you see there will be the email address, and you will see the affiliation address. Actually, all those researchers are where? Is it USA? Is it Canada? It's that specific lab name, specific department name. This is how you can find a potential supervisor and also the potential research topics. So it can be from Science Direct. I think there's you don't need to subscribe at least to get the title of the paper, the email address, and some of the other things. And you can again make the collaboration that can help you to download the paper to get the papers. The other databases like Springer and other platforms, you use them. Here use some search keyword. I think the Subbit can help the researcher in this way, how to find searching, improving the searching capability. I think this is an important topic for those who are at first year, second year, third year, probably don't know how to search in this academic life. Maybe you know some other things to search, but this research related matters may not be. So I think this also will be good topics. As Sabbir mentioned, time to time he's giving his talks, topics. So I think it will be good for you to how to improving your searching capability, how to search, find a scholarship, admission requirement, topics, and supervisors, and so on. This is important topics. Okay, so you may have also some misinformation, as I receive a lot of messages in my inbox. Particularly, they are asking to support them scholarship, as if I'm going to give you scholarship. Actually, my idea is to give you something more than scholarship. So the experience, skill I'm sharing with you, normally you will not find it so easily, because the people does not want to share some of the unique things, and also they don't want to spend their time. Maybe some of them, they consider this 2 hours time, I can write a paper. But my case is different, because I'm Bangladeshi, I came from Bangladesh. So I have a lot of achievements. So I don't have much things to get in my pocket. So now I can spend for the benefit of you. And this also again can be a Zaria, because I'm sharing my knowledge. This is also, if it benefits you, definitely Almighty Allah will give me something. So for me, it is fine. But that is basically the purpose. I want to share my experience, 22 or 3 years of my experience. And this actually I gained through by my hands-on experience, because I'm not like other people, they just rely on students and so on. I work myself. I work with my students. I sit in the lab. I review the paper. I give you the idea. Everything goes from me. And that is actually the role of a potential supervisor. So this experience actually is unique experience. That's how my profile, and as you have seen also, my academic recognition, the world recognition, probably you have seen in the newspaper and the Facebook. So that's actually unique experience. I'm more than happy to share with you for the benefit of our country, young generation. Because if you can be a good researcher, potential researcher, because of my training, because of my knowledge sharing, and that definitely will inspire me, motivate me. That's how I feel when my students got the Australian, the best scholarship, top scholarship. So then money will not give me that honor. That is something extraordinary for us academicians. That's how it's inspiring me to share my experience, knowledge, and skills with you. So don't take that as a lightly. That one you cannot buy by spending money. I trained an Iranian student who was about to die about his PhD with someone else. Then when he joined with me, I trained him in such a way that now he's a world-class researcher. So he will get definitely chance in better opportunities in some of the top universities. When his initial candidature defense was given, I was not fully convinced, because I wanted him to do something else, something more. But some of the top who was one of the committee member, and they were from the BUET and did master's PhD in Western countries, top university, and he gave a green signal that the content is so strong, it is more than enough for the submission of a PhD. This is, you see, how then that student actually many times mentioned that that one is more than precious than a gold, because he got an opportunities to get training and to be a world-renowned researcher. That one will not be, you cannot compensate with the money. So what I want to say that I cannot give you the scholarship here, but I give you something more precious than that. So don't misunderstand that I'm here to give you the scholarship. I may have something limited, but now at this moment, due to pandemic, I cannot bring anyone from overseas countries. Even from my home country also, I cannot, because there is no visa. So it is now a difficult situation. Don't think that I am here to give you the scholarship. Okay, I am here to give you some guidelines, what I have provided here, and continuously I'll be doing. That's also what the Sabbir is also doing. And another thing is also, you may have that overseas countries is waiting for you with, a lot of job, scholarship, and so on. And success also is not that easy. So in a keyword, there is no magic or shortcut way to succeed in your life or career. Never underestimate, never think in that way. That will be detrimental for your career and life. Okay, and also if you want to be a good researcher, prolific researcher, never give up, work hard with intelligence. So some people work hard, but they are not strategic. They are not thinking capability, critical thinking is not there. Just simply working hard is not enough unless you work intelligently. Okay, so again, the perspiration, that is your discharging your sweat. How, as I mentioned, I work 18 hours, 20 hours. That is what is called the perspiration, and inspiration, that is basically the God-given. Sometimes maybe somebody is extraordinary, outstanding. That is what is called the 1%. Again, we are experienced, but sometimes our paper also rejected 6 times, 7 times, and also the editor asked us to go and learn school how to write a paper. See, even though we have published so many papers. So, but we take this as a lesson. If there are something constructive comments for learning purpose, definitely we take that positively. Okay. So without failure, actually, one cannot. Actually, it is not failure. Actually, it is how we can improve continuously. So these are my potential research area. Those who are in this area: materials, physics, chemistry, material science, engineering, thermal, heat transfer, energy, thermodynamics, energy storage, chemical engineering, electrical energy. So in this area, those who are interested, I'll be more than happy to help you, to collaborate with you. So this is some plan also. We can design those who are interested to write original paper, review paper, and we can supply some data. We are starting also due to this COVID, actually you cannot move, but we can generate some data. And those who are interested in my research field, we can give you data, and you can prepare some good quality papers, and then this might help you for your master's and PhD, even you are undergraduate students also, or even now this pandemic situation also. Okay, so future topics, actually this is what I discussed with Sabbir also, the preparation for higher studies. I think particularly how to get ready. I think I talked some of the things, how to write proposal, how to establish collaboration, how to prepare paper, how to polish your undergraduate paper into a conference paper, journal paper. So this is what we call the preparation, particularly to make yourself confident by publishing some papers. How to write research proposal. I think half an hour should be okay to write a good proposal, how to select topics, how to communicate effectively. So this is again, I feel in future, time to time, I'll give these types of topics also presentation. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, Sabir, that's all about my talk. Now is the question and answer session.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for our core of heart that you have spent a lot of time. We know that you are so much busy and you are now head of a center. So we know your busyness because here we are in Bangladesh, we are also busy. So you already mentioned that you are doing such job just to help the people of Bangladesh as you are a Bangladeshi. Alhamdulillah, the intention of you are as like as we are doing by Gobeshwar Bhattacharya group. So our intention is solely aligned to with your intention that we are just trying to help the young researcher, basically who are not expert in research. So thank you for your informative lectures. I hope the audience have learned a lot of things from your lectures. I asked the audience to ask a question from Professor Saidur Rahman sir, but with a little bit of break. Now I am just briefing some things about our program. I know most of the participants here are from Bangladesh. Yes, might be 2 or 3 from Malaysia or Indonesia. We may conduct the session of question answering in Bengali. What do you think? Or in mixed mood? It will be helpful because there are some
mixed mood will be very helpful.
There are some students
mixed mood,
from,
it will be better for students also.
there are some students from undergrad or college also, I know. Alhamdulillah, about 250 participants had registered, and continuously there was 100 audience and some joining and leaving at the same time. So now we are giving the floor to the audiences. You can also ask the question directly to Professor Saidur Rahman sir, or you can text in the chat box, so we can transfer it to sir.